Hi guys, I'm Andrew and I'm here with the lovely Amy today, and we're going to show you how to do this gorgeous Valentine's Day inspired makeup look. It's all about a fuchsia pink lip, something bright, sexy, seductive. And if you like this video, click like, share and subscribe. I've already prepped the lovely Amy's skin. There'll be a list of the products that I've used to prep Amy's skin in the description box below. Just want to keep the skin really nice and fresh and glowy, so I've used a really glowy mouth moisturiser. Make sure that it's all nice and dewy and fresh, ready for makeup application. The look that we're doing today is very skin focused, so nice and fresh, very romantic, almost like a velvety texture to the skin for that Valentine's Day feel, date night ready, so to speak. So the product that I'm going to use to create that particular type of effect on the skin is the Omorovicza Complexion Perfector in shade medium. Now, as I'm sure you guys can see, Amy's body is slightly warmer than her face, so I'm kind of matching the face to the body. This is a great product. Gives you a really gorgeous finish. It's a very expensive finish, I'd like to say. So you can see it's just really easily blended. It's actually a perfect colour for you, Amy, actually. It's really blended well into your body colour, which is nice. Another good thing about this product actually is it kind of adapts to your natural skin tone. Pigment's very clever. The technology for this product is very clever. Omorovicza do some amazing skincare as well. They're predominantly a skincare brand. Really important factor when you're choosing a base is its wearability, not just how it looks. You want it to feel really nice.
Soft.
Yeah, exactly. You want it to feel like nice and soft. Just turn your head this way for me, my sweetheart. So when I'm applying base, I always sort of start in the centre of the face and kind of blend out. And always make sure that you kind of blend down the neck. Don't lose the neck. And if you've got ears on show as well, always cover those with a light layer. So I'm just going to, because this is a tinted moisturiser, I can apply this very lightly on the eyelid. I'm not a massive fan of putting foundation on eyelids. I just feel like the technology of a foundation isn't really designed to kind of go in that area. It tends to sit in creases, so I prefer not to do it. But with this product, because it does act like a tinted moisturiser, I can just put a little bit of a light layer over the lid just to really even out that area. You can see that's worked really, really well on Amy. I mean, Amy's got beautiful skin anyway, so I've got a good base. I've got a good base to start with. I'd like to take all the credit for that. But just want to make sure that I don't have any streaks. This brush is great. This brush is also from a brand, I can't remember this brand. Wycon. Got it in Milan. They don't have them here in the UK, unfortunately. But if any of you are watching from Milan, go and get them. I love them. It's actually a highlight brush, but I always use it for base. Just blends really nicely. I do like the way that looks. I'm just going to take my beauty blender and just gently pat any streaks away. Now, because I haven't put loads of product on, this shouldn't lift anything. I'm just pressing very lightly. Just give it a good sponge, especially in the T-zone where we get most oily, I feel. It's always really nice to kind of just blot that in and give it a good sponge in. So now I've done the base, what I like to do, most people would predominantly move on to doing a concealer now, which is totally fine. You can do it that way if you like, but I personally prefer to give the face a little bit more definition, just along the cheekbone, around the hairline, possibly under the jawline. I just kind of like to really bring out the features of the face first before I start moving on to kind of developing the look. I feel, for me personally, I find it easier to kind of develop a look in that sense. That's me as a makeup artist. You guys at home will know your skin perfectly and what you need to do first. So this isn't a rule. There are no rules in makeup. You can do whatever you like, but just for me, I prefer to bring out some features first, and some people might find that strange. So the product I'm going to use a cream bronzer, and this is the Chanel Soleil de Tan by Chanel. It's a cream bronzer. It's a bit of a legendary product for Chanel. So I like to use a big fluffy brush. This is a fluffy brush from Milani. I'm not sure if they do these anymore, but you can get these big ones anywhere. But what I like to do is just gently bronze the hairline a little bit. Just load that up. And I like to just kind of press this in. I kind of don't do a lot of swoopy motions when I apply this product. With this cream, it's great because if I just press it in, I can kind of get a real feel for where that cheekbone is. Not that we have to try very hard with Amy. So I can just really sort of get some definition into the skin. I like doing it this way because I find that you can really start to see someone's facial architecture this way. And this product is, again, another wondrous product because I can literally it just melts into the skin. And I find that with bronzers, they tend to go a bit bitty, whereas this product doesn't do that at all. That's a good tip. Always use creams first. All your cream products first and then all your powders. And then you're not going to get that bitty separation of product that can happen if you apply a cream over the top of a powder. So just a little bit under the jawline. Just turn that away from me, darling. Just really blending that. And I'm just keeping this very light. I don't really want it to be an overly bronzed look, so to speak. Bit of warmth is always nice in any makeup, especially for date nights. And just head straight ahead. So I'm sure you can see there, you've got this really sort of gorgeous warm halo of something going on there. It's not too heavy looking, which is what we like. Now this is another tip. So to make sure that that's all really nice and blended, I just go over the seams of that bronzer and just tap my base brush over the top. So now I've kind of done that nice warmth to the skin, added some warmth to Amy's skin. I'm going to do this is quite a fun tip, I quite like this. So I'm going to use a product, it's called a Nars Powermatte Lip Pigment. And this lip pigment obviously is for lips. But I'm going to use it as a blusher, and I'm also going to use it on the eyes. But I'm just going to apply a little bit to the cheek first, and then when we move on to eyes, again I like to bring a little bit of colour to the face before I start doing eyes and lips and all of that sort of thing. So I just put a tiny little bit of this lip pigment. It's very, very pigmented. The consistency is very liquid-like. It's like a liquid cream almost, and it's matte, so it's quite nice to use on cheeks. Most people, if you are a YouTube fan, will know that you can see makeup artists using lipsticks on eyes, but I like to use it on the cheek. Now this is going to give me a really gorgeous rosy flush. So I'm applying this blusher quite high into the temples. Kind of want to get that nice lift there. And I'm kind of keeping it majority of the colour above the cheekbone. I don't want to come too low because I really want to get that nice angle to her face, that nice sort of lift. And again, same as the bronzer tip, I'm just going to take off the edges there. Just pat over. So you can see you've got a nice feathery looking blush there, nice and soft. Looks like it's coming from within Amy's skin, that's the main thing. But still adding structure to the skin. Just going to brush these up. I like to always brush the brows up during a makeup. I feel like your whole face hangs off of your eyebrows, so it's nice to have a good frame there, and you've got great eyebrows. Okay, so obviously done all this lovely blush, so I'm going to add a little bit more of a cream blush now. This is a slightly darker shade, and this is a shade called Camellia, and it's a Stila convertible colour, again another legendary product. I've just applied a little bit onto my finger. I'm just going to pat that just sort of on the high point of Amy's cheek. So not in that whole area, I just want to tap just in the high point there. I'm a big fan of using two blushes, for me personally. Especially if you're doing a beauty look, I think it's nice because I think you get that really nice diffusion of colour when you're using one blush and then using another. Yeah, I'm really happy with that, I think that looks gorgeous. Okay, so I'm going to move on to some eyes. Okay, so now going into the eye area, I'm going to use that same lipstick. I'm going to apply it to, this is the MAC 217, everyone loves this brush. Now I'm going to load my brush very, very slightly with the colour. Just turn this way from down, close your eyes. And I'm just going to pop a real soft wash of this colour. So kind of like a pat into the centre of the lid. Now you have to work quickly with this obviously because it's a liquid lipstick, so it does set. So give it a good blend while you can. So I recommend doing one eye and then another. Just using a nice fluffy blush now, sort of blending that all in and out into that blusher that I've applied. So I'm just doing another little second layer now, just while that product is still slightly damp on the skin. It's not wet, just damp. I'm just doing like a circular buffing motion. Just buffing right into the eye area. I love these brushes as well. This is a Royal & Lanicool Silk Pro Smudger BC 420, sorry. Now you can see I'm keeping the majority of the colour towards the lash line and kind of blending out. I don't want a heaps of colour around the outside here. I just want to make sure that that's nice and blended and just soft moving out to the brow bone. I do blend it up into the brow bone, but I still want to keep sort of a feeling of skin coming through there. I don't want it to be all colour, just nice and soft and diffused. Okay, so now I've done this really gorgeous sort of rosy flush. I'm going to use a pencil. This is Teddy from MAC. Again, a really another favourite for the makeup artist. This has got a lot of bronzy, shimmery pigment in, so it's going to give me a nice sort of bronzy lash line. Just chin down, can you touch down and close your eyes? I'm just going to pencil along the lash line. Now I'm kind of swinging this colour into the roots and slightly up and out here. So I'm just gently pressing on the lid and sort of massaging the colour into the roots. Open your eyes for me, darling. So you can see we're just going to get instant definition there. Now because this pencil is a Kohl, it doesn't set. So I can move on to the other eye. So I'm kind of just doing circular motions just to get right into there. Just really coming in lightly as I come into the centre part of the eye. Open your eye for me, darling. And just look down over here. I'm just going to add a little bit more into here. Make sure you get right into there. Sort of swing up. Now you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be perfect. And just look down over here for me. I'm just going to come into this corner here, and underneath. To that inner corner. Straight ahead. And I'm just going to do a tight line underneath the lash line on the top waterline. So I'm just going to lift Amy's eye slightly and I'm just going to massage underneath kind of that top waterline there and relax. Always let your model relax before you start tearing. And look down over here again. And I'm just going to make sure that there's definition on that top waterline. This is a really good way of making your lashes look a lot thicker. And look down. So obviously I haven't blended this all out yet, but I just want to get the majority of the colour on. Open for me. Okay, so now I put the pencil on, I'm just going to take this really nice fluffy brush. This is a Morphe Jaclyn Hill, and it's a JH40 close. I like this because it's got a nice sort of point, so I can really sort of blend that colour out. So I'm just focusing on that outer part to begin with, and just sort of fluffing out that pencil. Not too much because I still want to keep that definition in the lash line. Just sort of fluffing it all out. Again on the other side, I'm just going to lift the brow there a little bit. Just lightly blend. Again, you can see this pencil blends so beautifully. It's going to give me a really nice soft definition around the lash line and onto the lids. I want to keep the eyes sort of fresh looking because we are doing such a bright lip. It's always nice to go a bit softer with your eyes. Okay, so now I've blended out that pencil, I'm just going to move on and add a little bit of eyeshadow just to set that pencil. I'm going to use a Chanel eyeshadow today, and it's from the Ombre. It's one of those quad eyeshadows, and this is called Clair Obscur in 308. Oh, sounded very posh then, didn't I? 308. Close your eyes, please. Again, I'm just going to focus the majority of this onto that outer part there. I'm just going to pull up here, and I'm just going to blend up and out. And this is going to help with giving Amy a little bit of a lift around the eye area. This is a very soft, sort of neutrally brown shade. It's like a taupey colour rather than a dark brown. It's just sort of filling in that triangle. I'm just keeping the majority of the depth right at the outer corner. Just going to do the same on this eye. Close. Just a little bit around there. Again, focusing just on the lash line, just making sure I get a nice swoop out, just this angle here. Again, nice and soft. I don't want it to be like an angle or too hard. Kind of just want it to kind of look like a shadow, basically. Make it look like Amy's bone structure. I'm just going to add a little bit of this shade just onto the lower lash line, very delicately. Again, this is a nice taupey shade, so it's going to give me a bit more depth there without looking too dark. This is just really gently feathering that shade, just almost into the roots of the lashes and down, really, not too heavy. Okay, now that I've got less product on my brush, I'm just going to blend a little bit. Now when we start moving on to concealer, this is when we'll really start to see the shape appear. But I quite like this sort of light shading under there. So now I've done that really soft blend underneath the eye, I'm going to pop a little bit of shimmer just in this top centre part of the eye here. So I'm going to use this Charlotte Tilbury palette. It is the Iconic palette, and I'm going to use the shade called Enhance. It's the shade number 2 on the middle row on the left, if you've got this palette at home. Again, this is a nice pinky shade. Just look straight ahead for me, darling, close your eyes. So I'm going to focus this on the centre part of the lid. And just lightly pressing that in. I'm going to take this shimmer up into the brow area, just a little bit up through there, just in the centre. This is going to really help bring out that base pink that we used. It's going to really gel really well with it. It's going to mimic the colour underneath and sort of all blend together, and you'll see it come through again. The whole feel of this eye is to look really blended with some definition there, not too shapy. We just want it to complement the lipstick that's going on later. It's just nice and soft. And it's always nice to put the shimmer over the top of that matte shadow that I used. It'll just help blend it all in together. And it always helps soften matte shades. If you put a light bit of shimmer over the top, it will help soften. So if you feel like you've made a mistake, instead of removing it, try putting a bit of shimmer over the top and it'll soften it instantly. Okay, so now I'm going to apply some mascara. I've already curled Amy's eyelashes. So look down over here for me. Now I'm just going to apply it right at the roots. Now I'm just doing a press of this. Press it in at the root. And when I come into the corner, I'm going to angle my wand this way up. And press. And I want to add more on the ends of the lashes. Look straight ahead, darling. So I want to get that nice shape coming through there. Look down in here. Beautiful. Look straight ahead. Just going to move on to the other eye. Again, pressing into the roots and lightly gliding up through. This is a Giorgio Armani Classico mascara in black. It's a gorgeous consistency. It's a lovely mascara. You can just do coats and coats and coats of this stuff. Okay, so I'm happy with the way the eye looks, so I'm just going to move on and do some concealer now. I'm going to show you a real cool way of giving definition to that eye using concealer. So I'm going to use the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer in medium 2, and that shade's called Ginger. And I'm going to use a fluffy brush for this. This is how I like to apply concealer. So I'm just going to apply a little bit onto the chin. Now this is a slightly lighter shade than Amy's Complexion, just because this is going to kind of give me a little bit of contouring. Dare I say contouring? I think it's more of a bringing light to the face and the areas that I want to see come forward. So a little bit on the bridge of Amy's nose there. And a little bit here, in between the eyebrows and up into the forehead. This is a really great place to put some light concealer. Just going to bring that whole area forward. So really keeping this nice and blended. I like using concealer like this with a fluffy brush. Amy doesn't really have any blemishes, so I don't need to go in really with pinpoint concealing, where I'd use a different brush to do pinpoint concealing. This is definitely my preferred technique of applying concealer. Keeps it soft. And the consistency, I mean, we all know this concealer. I'm sure you guys at home know this concealer as well. Another legendary product there. Okay, so that's how I'm happy with that. Just keep that nice and soft, not too heavy. Okay. Using the same shade, I'm going to come under the eyes now. So I'm swapping brushes here. This is a flat brush. This is a Kryolan. I've had this one for forever. So look up for me, and I'm just going to pop this just where Amy is dark and sort of bordering where I put that underneath shadow. So right in that well there, that dark mist there. On the other side, I'm just going to pat that right where it needs to go, just to lift that area. Look straight forward. And I'm just going to blend that down onto the cheek. Beautiful. Now I'm going to take my fluffy brush, look straight ahead for me. I'm just going to pick up, as I'm blending, some of that concealer that I've put underneath Amy's eye. And I'm going to swoop it up onto the cheek, right onto the cheekbone. Just very softly blend that up, and you'll get a nice soft swoop there. Now, had I have had a lot of drop down from my eyeshadows I would have cleaned up, but I didn't, so I can move straight on to concealer. But if you have done your eyeshadow and there is drop down, make sure you clean that off. I'm sure you all know that at home anyway, but make sure you clean that up before you start doing concealer, otherwise it'll make your concealer look very muddy. Beautiful. And on the other side, just going to blend that in there and pick up some of that concealer. Just turn this way from me, darling. And just swoosh that almost in between the main part of the blush and the eyeshadow. Very gently, just swooping up. Very easy, really quick and easy to give you that nice natural looking lift there. It's like face cheating. Okay, so I'm happy with how this looks now. I'm going to move on to a brow. I've just got a little bit of brow gel on this spoolie. Very, very light amount. And I'm not going to fill in Amy's eyebrows today because I want them to be really nice and feathery and soft, and Amy's got quite a good brow. It's nice to leave something looking very natural. Okay, now for the main event, the nice bright fuchsia lip. So I'm just loading up my product onto my brush. This is a Bare Minerals Pro lipstick and it is called Hibiscus. So I'm going to pop the majority of that colour, just keep your lips close to me, darling. Majority of this colour in the centre of the lip. I absolutely love this colour. Naomi's got gorgeous lips. You're very blessed in the lip department. Beautiful. So I'm just mapping out my lip shape here with this lipstick. Just keeping it nice and soft. I actually really like the texture of these lipsticks. They're like semi-matte almost. Now just gently press your lips together. Beautiful, a bit more. Don't be afraid. Keep going. Just gently press, just obviously don't rub all over the edges. Okay. Beautiful. You're doing all the hard work for me. And just look straight ahead for me. So I just did that just because it gets the excess colour onto the top part of the lip there. So I can kind of use it to map out my shape of what I want from the top lip. So I'm not really worrying about my shape too much at the moment. I'm just getting my basic shape, so to speak, and I'm just getting my colour on because I am going to use a lip liner. I'm just going to come into this corner, just sweep that up. Okay, so I've got the majority of my colour on and I'm going to use this Stila Stay All Day lip liner, and this is called Sangria, which I'm sure you'll be drinking a lot of on date night. So just relax your lips for me. And I'm just going to do the top lip first. So I'm just going to map out that top lip. This is sort of a matching shade. And these are nice and soft. And they stay all day. They do stay all day as well. They do exactly what they say on the tin. Now I'm going to do a little press here. I'm just going to line through there. Just press very lightly. Don't press too hard when you're doing lip liner. Again, nice sort of circular motions. Again, just basically filling in where I didn't put the majority of the lipstick. I like doing it that way. I like putting the lipstick on first and then doing a liner afterwards. And just do a nice smile but with no teeth. Yeah, a bit more? Yeah, beautiful. Don't be afraid to look silly. And I'm just going to pop Just gently line that bottom part and just feather that all in there. Now it's always good when you're doing lipstick to step back. I always step back and have a look at my shape and see if I need to do any tweaks or anything like that. So I'm just going to fill in a little bit along here. I'm quite happy with that shape actually. Nice kissable romantic lips. Beautiful. And then just to finish off that colour, I'm going to add a little bit of Candy Yum Yum from MAC. And this is a really bright pink shade, really bright. And it's really nice just to apply this just in the centre of the lip. It's just going to give a little bit of depth to that centre there. So you can see, because we've done a nice soft eye with sort of complementary pinky tone, the lip stays the main feature of the makeup, but you've still got a little bit of seduction in there around the eyes. I know what a lot of you guys at home are thinking, oh, I couldn't wear any eye makeup with a strong lip. So this is how I've shown you how you can still do a little bit of eye makeup, just nice and soft. It's just so you keep the main focus of the makeup all about a beautiful lip. So now I'm applying this Anastasia blusher. It's a blush trio and it's in the shade Babe. Because you're such a babe. And I'm just applying that all over the top of that cream. This is a really good way of making powder blusher look really natural because I put a cream on underneath. And this is just going to piece everything together. Not too heavy. Give it really gorgeous, romantic flushiness, all that blusher right up into the temples like we did before. Just really buffed out and blended that really gorgeous, natural, beautiful flush. Now, last two things I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly powder. This is a Chanel Universal Skin Powder in shade number 2. It's a beautiful shade. It's got a little bit of a peachy tone to it, which I quite like actually in a powder. It's quite nice to have a little peachy powder. It's a bit more youthful. And I'm going to be really sparing with powder. I don't want to go too heavy with it. It'll just start to get a bit heavy. I just kind of want to block back where I don't want any shine. And the last part of the makeup, I'm using a cream highlighter just on the top of the cheeks. This one unfortunately has been discontinued, but it's a nice champagne-y pinky shade. So you can use whatever you like at home. Just on the tip of that high point in the cheekbone. Just there. And there you have it. You're ready for your date, Amy.